So this game was supposed to be at 3 o'clock, then it moved to 2 o'clock. Now it's at 7:30, but because of some Zamboni issues, I don't think it dropped puck. The puck didn't drop till about maybe 8:10. Either way, welcome to beautiful Edgewood Tahoe Resort in Lake Tahoe, or on Lake Tahoe in Nevada. I mean, take a look. Look at this. It's gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful sight lines, for crying out loud. But hockey is the only sport I know of where a game can be delayed and moved around due to good weather. That was the issue. Like, this NHL didn't understand, like, sun and ice do not mix. It's amazing. Anyway, Boston coming off losing their last 2 games. Going into this one, they bring out the 90s gear. I mean, look at this. Just flat out bringing out the 90s gear and hoping to really do well. Not to mention my new favorite thing in the world, Macho Man David Pastrnak. So the Bruins, can they beat out the Flyers in Lake Tahoe? Oh man, I'm having so much fun. Well, we're just getting started. Boston Bruins. We start things off in the first period. Tuukka Rask, Carter Hart, your goaltenders for tonight. And Boston will be without Kevin Miller, Matt Grzelcyk, Ondrej Kase, Jacob Zboril, and David Krejci. I mean, you're going to get no sympathy from the Philadelphia Flyers, who are without basically an entire first-line unit due to COVID protocol. That includes names like Claude Giroux being probably the biggest of the bunch that I can think of off the top of my head. Should have wrote it down. My bad. Anyway, so here are your lines for your Boston Bruins tonight. Brad Marchand, Bergeron, Pastrnak, the top line, the quote-unquote perfection line. Nick Ritchie, Charlie Coyle, and Craig Smith. The line I'm most looking forward to, Anders Bjork, Jake Studnicka, and Jake DeBrusk. And following up the fourth line, you know it well, Trent Frederick, Sean Corrali, and Chris Wagner. Clifton moving to the third pair on the right-hand side due to the injury to Kevin Miller, or maintenance day as they called it. And making his first appearance for the Boston Bruins, Urho Vakanainen. NBC, Vakanainen. Pronounce it right next time. Anyway, after all of this lunacy and all of this fun, we have a hockey game to talk about. 34 seconds in. Philip Myers' shot is blocked by Patrice Bergeron. It goes up to Brad Marchand. Marchand and Pasternak's getting in 2-on-1. It is a one-time opportunity. David Pastrnak, no mistake, he buries it. Bruins up 1-0. A little bit later on in the period, and this is just a weird and wacky bounce that only outdoor games can provide, as Sean Couturier, from his own red line, from the center ice line, cross-corner dump, it takes a hop and a half, ends up right in front of Tuukka Rask, and Tuukka Rask clearly not expecting this puck to be ending up where it is. Ends up pretty much right on the stick of Joel Farabee, who gets there first. He bangs it in through the 5-hole, caught Rask completely off guard. With all the sun and stuff going on, Rask probably never saw Farabee until it was too late. We have a tied hockey game at 1. And speaking of Sean Couturier, a little bit later on, it's a broken stick by Charlie McAvoy as Sean Couturier is coming out of the penalty box. Philly breakaway. Here comes Couturier. He goes over to Kevin Hayes. McAvoy goes full send, full yard sail, stretches himself out, but Hayes moves around it, puts the puck on net. There is chaos and confusion and bodies everywhere. It's a 3-on-2 opportunity in front of the net, and eventually Sean Couturier bangs it in. 2-1, the Flyers take the lead. But a little bit later on to make things up for it, it's a missed pass to Connor Clifton, but Cliffy stays with it, gets it behind the net. Puck battle win by Brad Marchand, sends it up to the blue line, and Charlie McAvoy just walks into it. Blows it by Carter Hart, who didn't see it, as Bergeron and Ivan Provorov were in front of him. Tie hockey game, 2-2. We go to the second period. So in the second period, it is announced that the Boston Bruins will be without yet another defenseman, as Jeremy Lauzon is out for the rest of the game with an upper body injury. 46 seconds in, Urho Vakanainen passes it up to David Pastrnak. It goes over to Nick Ritchie. Puck is on edge, so Ritchie circles the wagons and passes it over to David Pastrnak. Even though the puck is still on edge for Pastrnak, he slings it over the shoulder, hits the bar and in, and it is a 3-2 hockey game. That is the second of the game for David Pastrnak. A little bit later on, it is the man that I spoke badly about last game, making up for it a little bit. Spinorama pass to Craig Smith into the Philadelphia zone. Back to Charlie Coyle. Coyle skating towards the net. Puts it on net, off the post, off the ass of Carter Hart, into the back of the net. That counts. They don't ask how, they ask how many. And that is Charlie Coyle's third goal of the season. Makes it a 4-2 hockey game. A little bit later on, props for the kid. A puck battle win for Trent Frederick. Sends it off to Connor Clifton. D-to-D pass to John Moore. John Moore finds Connor Clifton back and gets it on his stick, settles it for a second, and fires it. Beats Carter Hart for his first goal of his NHL career for Trent Frederick. Makes it a 5-2 game towards the end of the second period. The Boston Bruins will get a power play, and John Moore takes the shot. It gets tipped in by the power play monster, Nick Ritchie. That's his 6th of the season, his 5th power play goal of the year, a 6-2 hockey game after the second period, and the Boston Bruins outshooting the Flyers 15-3. Granted, you can make some excuses for the Flyers as they were without basically an entire line due to COVID, but you can only play the team that's in front of you. That's just the way it works. So in the third period, and the Philadelphia Flyers swap Carter Hart for Brian Elliott, and they will get a power play goal here as it's a face-off win. A shot by Kevin Hayes deflects off James Van Riemsdyk and off of Urho Vakanainen before going in. But that's basically James Van Riemsdyk goal in a nutshell. His power play, 6-3. But a little bit later on, Ivan Provorov, its pass is intercepted by Jake Studnicka at the blue line, and Jake Studnicka goes over to David Pastrnak for the one-time goal. Hat trick, yeah! That is right, a hat trick for David Pastrnak, and Boston tying the most goals scored in an outdoor game with a 7-3 victory over the Philadelphia Flyers. Boston goes to 3-1 in outdoor games, with their only loss being at Gillette Stadium in a game I would rather not talk about. More importantly, the Boston Bruins 5-0 against the Philadelphia Flyers, 10 points out of 16 as these teams will face each other 3 more times, and Boston was able to outshoot the Philadelphia Flyers in this game 35-19. Yes, the Flyers were without Claude Giroux. Yes, the Flyers without 6 other players who are pivotal, important players for them, but you can only play who is in front of you. We'll take it to the 3 stars of the game. Star number 3, either John Moore or Connor Clifton stepping in on the left-hand or right-hand side. Both of them very impressive. 2 assists in the game. Star number 2, I talked badly about him, and he made up for it. Charlie Coyle, 18 minutes on ice, centering that second line. Give him a goal. He deserves it. He earned it. He finally put some points on the board. And your number 1 star, 3 goals, a hat trick, David Pastrnak, and also with that, the tweet or the quote of the year. We were listening to Barbie Girl before you guys asked me to do media. I was kind of dancing with these glasses out in the locker room, and then you guys ruined it, and I had to go answer questions. So I missed the Barbie Girl song. I'm a Barbie girl in a Barbie world. So a 7-3 win for the Boston Bruins. A hell of a bounce back. A hell of a game as they beat up on, unfortunately, a COVID-raked Philadelphia Flyers. Next up for the Boston Bruins, it's off to the New York Islanders again. And hopefully this time they can actually manage to eke out some sort of points against this Islanders team that they just haven't figured out all year. But until then, Boston's sitting pretty, number one, and having a blast doing it. So, come on, Barbie, let's go party on the Bruins Recap Show. Dig it!